Okay, in this video clip, you're going to learn how to format business letters. Business letters are used to communicate with people outside of the business. Business letters carry two messages. The first is the tone and the content. The second is the appearance of the document. Appearance is important because it creates the critical first impression. Stationary use of standard letter parts and placement should convey that the writer is intelligent, informed, and detail-minded. Okay, stationary letters should be printed on high quality letterhead stationery, which is heavier paper, usually has the logo of the company and the address and everything and the phone number at the very top. Letters should be printed well, and then the envelopes should match. Okay. Salutations and complimentary closings are discussed on page 126 in your book. That is very important. If a letter is going to an individual, like the receiver's name is Dr. Alexander Gray, then the salutation at the beginning of the letter should be Dear Dr. Gray. Okay. If it's going to Dr. and Mrs. Thompson, Dear Dr. and Mrs. Thompson. Okay, no first names are included in the salutation. If it's going to an organization, the receiver is TMP Electronics, the salutation should read, Ladies and Gentlemen. And if you know it's going to the advertising manager, but you don't know the advertising manager's name, then the salutation would be Dear Advertising Manager. And the complimentary closing appears at the end after you're all done writing the letter. It reflects the relationship with the receiver. So use sincerely to show a neutral relationship, cordially for a friendly relationship, and respectfully when requesting approval. Okay. Always make sure that you proofread very, very well when you're writing a business letter. Okay. So. Okay, when you are making business letters for your assignments for this class, I want you to learn to create your own letterhead. Okay, and to do that, I'm looking here at my document. I can see my rulers. Okay, if you can't, go to View and check Ruler. Okay, this space right here, if you look over here, that's your top margin, and it's the space right here on your page. Point there with your I-beam and double click. That will put your cursor in the header. Anything that goes up here does not affect anything in the letter, like vertical spacing. Okay, your letter can still be vertically aligned to here, but your letterhead will stay here. Okay, so in a letterhead, you typically will have the business name and a logo. Okay, for all of our letters, I'm going to have you just we'll do online pictures. This is how you insert. And that was the header and footer tools, design tab, and online pictures is one of the options in the insert section. So I'm just going to search for a comet in office.com clip art. Okay, and this one has blue and yellow, so we'll go with that. And I'm going to click Insert. Okay. When it puts it in the document, I'll give it a second here, it'll look like this. And when I point at it and I click, when I point at it, I get the four-headed arrow. So that means when I click and drag, I should be able to move it, right? I click and drag, and see, it will not let me move it freely. Okay, in order to move it freely, you need to click this button, which when you point at it says Layout Options. Click that, and the common standard type is tight. It's this one right here. Then you click that, you point in the middle of your clip art and drag, and now you can move it wherever you want. So I'm going to put this over here on the right side. I'm going to make it smaller because this is my header up here and it's hanging way down. We don't want that to happen. So we're going to make it smaller. I'm going to put it over here, right even with my right margin right there. And now I'm going to right click on this picture and I'm going to copy it. I'm going to click over here and I'm going to right click again and paste. And that puts another copy of the picture here that I'm going to put at my left margin like this, but I'm going to flip it so that the stars are both facing in. And to do that, you click here, you get an extra tool bar, Picture Tools Format, click that, and you can click, let's see, Rotate in the Arrange section, and I'm going to flip it horizontally. Okay, just a little trick to show you there. And now for the rest, for the business name, address, and phone number, I'm going to click Center, and I'm just going to type okay, and there's my header. So to get out of the header, I'm going to double click. Well, here, I'm going to try something. I'm going to move this down. This could pass. Yeah, we'll make them the same. Okay, so that looks good. So to get out of the header, you do the same thing you do to get in the header. You double clicked up here to get in the header. Now put your pointer down here and double click in the body. Okay, and now that's going to look grayed out, and that's okay. This is in the header. It will remain in the header. When we print, it'll be crisp and clear, but for now it's in the header and it won't mess with our document. Okay, when you're typing a letter, you always want to go approximately 2 inches from the top. So at the top of your document, you notice that we have a 1-inch margin, so hit enter 3 times. We learned that before, and that brings us to 1, and you can see we're at 2.1, which is close enough. The first part of the letter that you are going to put in here is the date. So just we've learned about typing the date. Okay, when it gives you an auto correct, hit enter, hit space, there it is. I hit enter, and now I'm going to hit enter twice after the date. Okay, now I'm going to type the address of the person receiving the letter, and when I do that, instead of hitting enter, I'll show you here. See how it leaves an extra space? I don't want the extra space. I want this to be single spaced. So I'm going to backspace over that. I'm going to hold down the shift key and hit enter. Okay, that eliminates that space. Okay, then when I'm done typing the address, notice how I held the shift key down and hit enter. So this is all single spaced. When I get to the last line of the address, I'm going to hit enter, not shift enter, because I want an extra space between the inside address and the salutation. Okay, and we know this is going to Mr. Jackson Elliott, and we already know that a salutation should always start with dear, then a courtesy title, and last name. Never a first name in the salutation. Then hit enter because we want a little bit extra space between the salutation and the first paragraph of the letter, and then you can start typing your letter. When you're typing the letter, when you come to the end of a line, obviously you just keep typing the next word and it wraps you down to the next line, but when you're done with the paragraph, hit enter again. We want a little extra space between paragraphs. Okay, when you're done writing the letter, which by the way, in the beginning you tell them why you're writing, offer details in the second paragraph, and then in the last paragraph, tell them what you would like them to do, or what comes next. After the last paragraph, hit enter, and now you're ready to do closing. And after you type that, hit enter twice, and then you're going to type who the letter is from. You are typing this letter for Gerald Bailey, who is the executive director. Oops, and I need to hit shift enter because I want this to be single spaced. Okay, and since you are typing this for him, hit enter once, so we've got a little extra space, and you're going to put your reference initials at the bottom. Mine's TW, my name's Tracy Weber, and they need to be small letters with no periods to indicate that you're the one that typed the letter for Gerald. And that is how you type a business letter.